Hello everyone and welcome to this Fairies Oracle reading. The fairies are connecting us to the four elements of water, air, earth and fire. And I wanted to make a reading asking them about the energies going on right now, what they're sensing going on with the earth, the waters in our world, the balance of nature, and how they see it all play out from their perspective, as they are very much in connection to the elements and are reading their energy all the time. So it's really just a question for us to tune in to the fairies and the trolls to find out what is going on, what kind of messages there are for us through the changes that are going on with the elements right now in the world. If you hear me giggle or laugh throughout this reading once in a while, it's because the energies of the fairies and the trolls are very light and very light-hearted and very light-filled. They want us to change perspective sometimes on the way that we are living, as we are sometimes being too serious, are living too much in the ego. And so for us to see what is really going on, what the truth is really all about, we need to let go of the perception we have sometimes that our 3D capitalistic lives are actually the truth when it's actually an illusion. And so the fairies and the trolls will, through using humor, keep us on our toes, keep us alert, to actually keep us on the path of joy and light and a life in constant change where we can always adapt to the energies of the elements. For this reading, I'm asking 3 questions. And the first question I'm asking is, what is the energies right now, coming from the earth, the water, the fire element, and the air element? And the second question I asked was the reason why the things are playing out right now the way they are. What is the reason for that? What is the true core of the situation of the 4 elements at this point? And lastly, I asked what the fairies and trolls have for us as advice. What is their primary message for us to sort of try to understand what is going on beneath it all? And for the first question, 4 cards came out, and so let's have a look at those cards. And the first card to show itself is card number 42, Mick the Myromancer. The names of the fairies and trolls can sometimes be a little tricky, so bear with me if I'm not pronouncing it just 100% correct, as these are ancient magical names. However, Mick the Myromancer is showing up from underneath all the leaves, where we also can see little creatures with small eyes. So this is talking about that the fairies here are leaving small clues and details for us in our everyday life situations, where we sort of have to smell, as we also can see through his big nose. We have to smell and sense what is lying underneath the situations that we are in. And with the small creatures that we can see laying together with the leaves, it's all about focusing on the small details, just little insignificant signs that holds a greater meaning for us to see the bigger picture. So sometimes we have to ask ourselves in our everyday life situations, what am I missing here? What is not being said? What is not being done? And also this card is, like I said before, about the small clues, the little details. And so the fairies are showing themselves right now, trying to make us focus on things while they're not growing bigger and making a mess in our lives just because we didn't want to see the truth about things when they showed up the first time. So look for the little signs and omens and portents, because it all may come in a small package. So let's move on to the next card to get a bit more information. And here we have card number 4, He of the Fairy Sword. Now here we are very close to the source of the universe. And as we can see in the picture, there's a lot of light going on, astral light moving up into the universe, coming from down the ground. And so this is telling us about the masculine energy. He of the Fairy Sword is about the active principle in the universe. It's also about justice and protection and spiritual will. Now this is the sword of truth, so it's like that he of the Fairy Sword is asking us to use him wisely, to only use him with honor and no disrespect. So in this situation, we are being reminded that we need to have a clear and focused will and intention towards things going on in our lives. And remember, this is a general reading, so I'm reading the tendencies going on a global scale right now. And so it may not resonate with your personal journey in details. However, if some of it resonates, then please take that with you. And what doesn't resonate, you can just leave behind. But he of the Fairy Sword wants us to move to kind of a next level in our lives. He is, like I mentioned before, the active principle, so he is motion. And this card is actually also having the power of radiating its energy out to the other cards within the same reading. So this card is very significant throughout this reading. So if we need any kind of assistance to move to whatever next level is in question in our lives, we just need to call upon him and he will turn up and put his sword through all the cracks, so to say, so that we can see clearly where to go. Okay, so let's move to the third card and see what it has for us. And here we meet card number 50, Owl Parrot. He's talking about communication, and as we can see in the picture, he's pointing a finger to his throat chakra that is all filled with light. So he really wants our attention to how we communicate with other people and how other people are communicating with us. What are we trying to say here? What are other people trying to tell us? It's really important that we here focus very much on body language, unfinished sentences, or people trying to express some kind of unfinished thoughts. Where do things get blurry in our communication? We really need to focus on that. And so be aware that what you are communicating out right now, or what we are as a global people communicating out right now, that it's clear and right to the point, that we listen, that we articulate, and maybe also share ideas with others. Listen patiently to other people's ideas and maybe try to come up with some kind of common solution. And so what we really should strive for here is verbal brilliance. So we must really do our best here to come out clearly with thoughts and ideas that are on our minds. And like we also can see in the picture, the two light points above Owl Parrot's head, it's very important here that we keep a close connection with our thoughts when we are communicating something out, so that what we think is what we say, is what we do. And then our actions are being aligned with the thoughts that we had in the first place. Then there's total alignment and there's total balance, and that's what we should strive for. Okay, finally we have reached the last card to the first question I asked. And here we have card number 10, the Singers of Healing. This card, however, is coming out in reverse, but I would just like to show you the picture in its upright position, since this is the first time I'm using the deck. So there are a lot of blue colors here. Light blue colors, deep blue colors, mixed with this almost silvery light. And now let's have a look at the card in reverse. We can see that it's like a lotus flower in reverse. So there is some kind of closing up towards our inner healing. And it's giving us an indication of that there is some kind of illness going on in the world within our bodies, our minds, or even our spirits, where we are sort of disconnected from being in alignment with the universe. So we need to go within here and make sure that we are nurturing ourselves by listening to our thoughts, our ideas, our emotions, so that we can put this card back in its upright position, so that we are open to whatever is coming to us from the universe, so that we are in alignment with the universe. And we also need to ask ourselves here, what am I holding on to that is preventing me to reach this state of healing? What kind of beliefs, traditions, anything am I holding on to that is keeping me from being a whole person, being in balance? So these were the 4 cards for the first question. And overall, I think that here we are being called to make some kind of action, but from a perspective of clear communication with each other, so that we can become our own healers and healers of each other by trying to figure out what is not being said, what is not being done, by asking ourselves an important question: do we have our intention and our focus put in the right direction here? So let's move on to the second question I asked, which was why? What is the reason for all this going on? And here I pulled 2 cards, and let's have a look at the first card that came out. We have here card number 6, the Singer of Connection. Yes, we're just talking about healing and trying to get into alignment with the universe. And here is why all this kind of confusion is going on right now with bad communication and not reading the signs, etc. All this is playing out right now because the Singer of Connection, the spiritual connection, the karma, the balance, the empathy of the universe is trying to come into our Earth dimension. So it's coming in by pushing us from above, and of course that affects us. And if you've been listening to some of my other readings I've been doing, I am talking about the connection we have with the universe through electric impulses. And this is really what is affecting us right now, that what is coming from above, other dimensions, they are pushing onto us because they want to get in, they want to assist us. They want us to wake up and open our minds and hearts and thoughts and communication towards, first of all, being healed, but secondly, to get into perfect alignment or total alignment with the general balance in life, opening up to empathy, to see our karma and how it's playing out and how much our actions are affecting our own lives and the lives of those around us. So this is indicating that we are having a lot of support from other realms and also a great amount of strength. However, this is not only talking about being connected to the dimension around us, but as we are all one, it is also naturally talking about the connections that we have between us, how we connect to each other. And there are connections right now being unified and reunified. So it's like that we are finding our tribe. And of course, that begins by connecting to who we truly are as an individual, trying to connect with its group. And so this card is also talking about building new connections and building new network where we will find mutual support. And it's like in the picture there are 2 triangles becoming one. Something is trying to reach us from the outside, from other dimensions, at the same time that the energy on Earth is trying to rise up to be united with that. And that starts by being united within us. And then afterwards we can start to radiate that out into the world. Okay, so let's have a look at the second card that came out. And here we have some beautiful purple colors. The Singer of Intuition, card number 7. And I will just mention here that since we have card number 6 and 7, 2 cards just right after each other in numerical order, I will just quickly mention that all the cards are divided in special groups. And so the first group that card number 6 and card number 7 are relating to is sort of the source of it all. It's the core of the energy of the universe. And so I think it's very significant that they're coming out together here, because it seems that we have a lot of support and a lot of portals opening up to us and that it is up to us to start to reach out for them. Now, the singer of intuition is about perceptiveness, oracular powers, awareness, and trust. So in this process of connecting with the deep source we have within us and with the world around us, including the rest of cosmos, we need to trust ourselves that there is a higher meaning with things, that we can lift ourselves up to a higher awareness, or deeper if you want. If you go deep inside of yourself, you automatically go higher around you, radiating all your intentions out in the universe. So this is a good time to listen to our intuition, to maybe meditate, to maybe practice stillness, and definitely patience, because things are opening up within us to whole new realms that we have never been so deep in contact with before. So we may have feelings or hunches that are completely new to us. So as we open up to our inner being, our innermost, we are automatically connecting with cosmos, which will bring us whole new possibilities of living a life in harmony and abundance with each other, where everything is in harmony, where we are supporting each other instead of fighting each other and competing with each other. Now, this card has a specific meaning because it is also radiating strong insight and illumination around the cards in the same reading. So just like we have He of the Fiery Sword, card number 4, which is actually also belonging to the same group as card number 6 and 7, card number 7 is also radiating its energies out to the other cards in the reading. So this is a very powerful reading, reminding us that we need to go back to source, to the original forces in the universe, because they will guide us. We just need to open up to them and respond to them. When we do that, we will find answers to many questions that the world seems to be confused about right now. And maybe the energies of the earth within the earth people are starting to move towards other dimensions, towards a different understanding, a different perception of what communicating with the cosmos really means. So these were the two cards to the second question of why we have all this confusion going on in the world. And I think it was very uplifting to know that there are other dimensional energies trying to come towards us with support and nurturing. So like I mentioned before, there is definitely a higher meaning of all the confusion going on right now. And there is a strong indication here that we need to stick to the truth in things, to look a little bit deeper, to try to work on ourselves to become more aware. Now for the last question I asked, 2 cards came out. Now the third question was about what is the fairies' advice to us? What is their direct message to all this? And the first card to show itself is card number 35, the Faun. This card is talking about understanding the nature of nature, natural wisdom and natural magic. And again, we have a lot of light blue and deep blue colors going on here, mixed with some bright white light. And actually, there is a creature showing itself. Now, to me, this brings my mind to think of the unicorn, which is all about dreams coming true, a lot of magic showing up in our lives. And we can see that there are some bright points, 4 bright points in perfect alignment. So the advice from the fairies to us on this whole situation going on right now in the world, with the earth, with the elements, is that we need to start believe in a little bit of magic. Believe in the magic of nature. Nature is here to support us and assist us in everything we would like to do in our lives, in everything that we would like to see life holding for us. So this is asking us to put a little bit more meaning in the nature that is surrounding us in our everyday lives. And actually the card is telling us that it is going on, whether we believe it or not. And the nature is actually trying very hard at the moment to come in and show itself to us and to show what kind of power it holds for us to collaborate with. And it is asking us to simply let that kind of magic flow through us. Just go with the flow of nature, not trying to act in a desperate manner. Now there's a lot of light in this picture, so I also feel that the fairies are telling us that we need to keep our focus on the light. Light holds all positive thinking than we can ever imagine. So when we turn to the light and the source within ourselves, we are automatically helping nature in keeping its vibration towards balance. And even though there are many catastrophes going on right now with our environment, I feel the fairies are actually telling us to keep trusting the magic in things. That everything is just playing out, and like we had before through one of the other cards, this is about karma playing out, and it needs to play out for us to reach balance again. But we need to trust it, we need to let things flow, keep in tune with our light, and do whatever we feel is the right thing to do without handling the situation in a desperate manner like I mentioned before, because then things can go completely out of hand. So give and receive freely in your life, and through that keep the flow of nature going. Now the second and last card to show itself is card number 15, the Journeyman. And like with one of the other cards we had for this reading, he came out in reverse, but I would just like to start by showing you the card in its upright position, as this is the first time I'm using the deck. Now on the card we see a small creature just about taking the next step on his journey with the ball on a stick in complete balance. He's stepping out to the unknown, he's sort of sensing with closed eyes where he is supposed to go. Now as this card came out in reverse, the fairies are trying to tell us here that there are some kind of energy being blocked that needs release before we can move out on the next step of our journey. We must not let ourselves be distracted, like I mentioned before, by desperate actions just because we want to bring things into balance just like that. We need to figure out what is holding us back to really get things by the roots, to really cleanse out what needs cleansing out before we can really move on our path. And also it is asking us to make the right move, to take the right steps, to ask ourselves in which direction we really want to move into. And if it is our own fear that is holding us back to really take the next step that we know we need to take. So there is some kind of inward work that needs to be done here, where we need to ask ourselves maybe uncomfortable questions and to acknowledge that we are co-creators as well, and so that our actions are crucial for our next development. So we need to ask ourselves if there is something that is delaying us, that is holding us in this kind of stagnating situation that we're in right now, and how much we take part of this or not. If we are the ones who are blocking ourselves, blocking the next step of our evolution. So this was the advice from the fairies and the trolls to us, to believe in a little bit more of magic, to keep the flow of nature going by giving and receiving in balance, so that we can put our intention on the next step of our evolution and where we want to go. Now just to finish this reading off, I will pull a nature card to see if there is a specific element that the fairies want us to focus on while we are going through these transformational times with many shifts and transitions going on. And the cards that came out when I shuffled the deck was an old oak tree picture with a little fence around it. And I'm imagining that there's a little path or a little road just down beneath the green hill where we have the oak tree. So this is telling us about the earth element, to really put our roots down into Mother Earth, to stay connected, to stay grounded, so that we can be like the tree of life, so that we can be in perfect alignment with our root and crown chakra. And like the oak tree, standing there in all of its majestic nature, holding ancient wisdom, knowing what is coming and what needs to go. And with the fence in front of it, I feel that we need to guard that tree. We need to guard the earth. We need to guard the roots within us, our connection to Mother Earth. So if you can go into nature and hold a tree or just sit down underground for a quick meditation, just listening to the wind in the trees, everything that has got to do with the tree, picking up a leaf, or it can be anything, to feel that you are connected with the inner core of Mother Earth so that we can be open to the messages that she has for us in relation to how to take better care of her and to take better care of us. Now the second card is a winter card, also with a tree depicted on it. Here we have a lot of leaves laying on the snow, no leaves on the trees, just snow laying on the branches. And so here it's also earth energy that we need to focus on. And since it is winter here in the picture, I feel that the flow of Mother Earth is struggling right now. We really need to keep to the light to help her through with the deep transformation that she is going through right now. And again, we must remember that everything that is playing out right now is the consequences of our actions. It is not Mother Earth doing something to us. She's actually holding a very big lesson for us, that whatever we are sending out is coming back to us. And so this is her winter she is going through right now in her life, where we are also hibernating. She is going inwards to figure out the right solutions for her existence in the future. And so I feel that she's asking us to assist her here in that journey, that we are hibernating, that we are meditating, that we are having patience, that we are really striving to reach the best solutions for her future as well as for ours. If we don't have her, we don't have a future here on planet Earth anymore. So go within, find the light, just like the other cards were telling us about in this reading, hibernating so that we can remind ourselves that we are deeply rooted with Mother Earth and that what we are sending out of thoughts, ideas, and intentions can really have a big and crucial effect on her nature. We are co-creators. We are a product of Mother Earth, and she's trying to build us a home in abundance and prosperity. Now we have to do the work that is required to reconnect and keep things in balance. So this was the Fairies Oracle reading I had for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you have any comments, please leave them in the box below this video. Thank you for watching and listening. Take care and bye for now.